All right. Hello, everybody. Woo! How are you all doing? I am recovering from a sickness. This has been a week-long battle. My son got sick, which in turn got my wife sick, which then in turn got me sick, and you might actually hear it in my voice a little bit. I'm gonna bring the mic a little closer because I'm not talking loud today. Yeah, I'm recovering. I'm past the point of having fevers now, so that's good. But I am definitely still very much sore and tired. I'm just overall lethargic, and yeah, I mean, what can you do? But anyway, I put out a video, I think yesterday, as of recording this. I don't even know. I'm going to be honest about something. Getting sick, I've kind of lost track of all sense of time. What I do know is I recorded this iPadOS video last week. So then I got sick. Well, first I was tending to my family who was being sick, and then it rolled over to me. And then, after all that had happened, can you see it? No, you can't see it. It's off frame. My roof down in the basement here, so not my roof, my ceiling, started leaking from one of our bathtubs in the house upstairs. So I'm like, no. So that's being figured out, worked on. And then, same day, the other bathtub, we have like a handle that you just kind of rotate from off to cold to warm, so it's just the one knob, and that broke same day, and this was 2 days ago, by the way. And the water wouldn't turn off. The water just kept running and running. So I called my water company, and they said, "Hey, when the next billing cycle posts, send us that statement with the plumber that you hired, and they're going to credit me something because I had to hire a plumber to help fix that. The thing that's leaking here, that's a whole." Yeah, you can't even see it off frame. Yeah, but anyway, so half of it's been resolved. The other half is I just can't use that tub for now, but that's okay because I also have a regular shower. So I don't know how long I'm going to be going for today, just because I am very, very frail, very weak, but it's okay. But I did want to talk about iPadOS. Very first of all, if you're watching on YouTube, and you actually are watching this, if you notice my lighting here and here, I changed it. Do you know why I changed it that way? I will give you a hint, assuming it doesn't get blown out in me showcasing this, because as you guys know, I don't actually I don't edit these like in video production. Podcasts are meant to be a little bit more. I interpret podcasts to be raw and genuine. No, not genuine, but just spontaneous, right? But there you go. Oh, there it is. It's blowing out because the auto light thing. Why would you do that? It's the iPadOS 18 lighting. So I even moved the light so that way the purple is with the purple, and the blue, here is with the blue. So in the Philips Hue app, which is what I use to make my colored lights, because those are the lights there, in the app you can upload any photo and it will pull colors from it. So these colors behind me are directly from this photo, which I took from. So yeah, I made a very special iPadOS video with using iPadOS color schemes, and then while I was sick and I didn't have time to edit at first, I made the time to make the thumbnail. So, I mean, yeah, I've been sleeping. I spent within the last 48 or 72 hours, I spent more time being horizontal. I was laying down than I have been laying up, sitting up. So it feels good to just move. I'm going to put Do Not Disturb on. I just forgot. I'm not supposed to have that on. Anyway, so, man, what was I going to tell you guys? No, I know what you're seeing the, you're seeing the delays in my response and in my thinking because of this. And I'm only filming right now because my wife's not home. She's out with some friends, as she should be, because it's a nice day. And it's a warm day. And I knew I was sick because on these days that are like 90 degrees on average, I'm sweating, but I have these shivers. I had goosebumps and I'm just shaking. And that's not like I'm sick and cold. But anyway, she's not home. She's out with friends. But my son's sleeping right now. So, and I guess what? I have him up on the iPad. As I talked about in that video, I have him up so I can see him sleeping very comfortably. I don't know for how much longer, but he is sleeping. And I'm tired of laying down and not being able to sleep because I can't breathe or whatever the case may be. So I was like, let me be productive and let's do a Tech is Art podcast. Why not? Anyway, iPadOS. I got a comment on my Discord, actually. I'm going to see if I can pull that up. I do have a Discord. I'm about as active on my server as I would be on Twitter or Instagram. To all that to really say that, like, it's, you know, I'm there when I have to be, I guess. But somebody had saw a comment that I had left on Everyday Dad, every tech, your average dad. I'm forgetting his name, but he does tech stuff. Now I'm scrolling YouTube right now to see if I can see a channel that would have him come up. I'm pretty sure it's like Everyday Dad or Your Average Dad, something like that. It's something like that. But anyway, he had put out a video about talking about the iPad. And it's funny because I like art imitates life, or life imitates art, maybe. But it just so happens that as I was doing my analysis on everything with iPad and then iPadOS, as I've had time to sit and think about really all of this, after Dub, and I was able to kind of finalize my thoughts. And yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, I was gathering some thoughts, and while I was able to, why is it look? I found the video and it's just taking it sweet. The Everyday Dad. Yeah, I was right. Everyday Dad put out a video about the iPads, and I was like, great. And I had commented on it, and then somebody who's in my Discord found my comment on there. And so I'm going to read to you what my comment was to him and then explain further. I said, "You most likely don't remember me, but years ago, I think 2017 or 2018 type of years ago, I told you that your Sony A6400 review was single-handedly the reason why I bought it, and I still use it to this day. And that's this camera right here. That's my Sony, and it's true. I watched his video, and it just, what he said resonated, and I was like, yep. And I haven't looked back. I love that camera for what it is. 6 years later-ish, I think I can say that again for this video, talking about the iPads. When I need to hear something, you have a way of articulating it to me in a way that makes it applicable for my use case. Thank you again. Okay. So which then I get the comment on my Discord saying like, oh, new video soon. But I'm going to explain what I was getting at with it. So iPad. I'm getting hate on my iPad OS video for I'm not even complimenting iPad OS. I'm just explaining iPad OS and how I finally understand it. And people are crapping on me. I actually had one person tell me, like, you know, they just went straight to attacking me. Like, you don't know me, but they're attacking me. And that's just nastiness, man. Always nastiness, but whatever. I do not care. Comment section. You think I appreciate the nice comments, and I always try to acknowledge the nice comments, especially first. I think I'm going to change my policy about responding to everybody because I don't need to give it the attention. You think I care what haters or trolls have to say to me that have no impact on one of my many homes that I own, or the lifestyle that I live, the vacations, or the family time that I do with my family and friends? You think I care? I don't. I could not care less, but I always try to read the comments to see if I can find the kernel of truth about the critique. I had a guy fight me like a month or two ago about iPadOS, and he was defending it. And I've talked about it on the Tech is Art podcast about how after 20-ish responses, not only did we find mutual ground, but we actually, like, you know, a gentleman's handshake, so to say, because evidently he's a music producer. And so we were talking about music, and he said, I'm going to subscribe to your channel. And you know, that was that. So that's one thing. But then trolls are trolls. But I'm getting hate just for acknowledging iPad. So I kind of want to use this time to set that record straight. Not for them. More for to know that I've given the clarity to anyone who cares. Which is funny. I know the people who troll or just spew hate on those videos or towards me, they're not even watching the video. So I'm like, all right, whatever. Boost the algorithm, I guess. I don't care. But, and maybe I don't care because I'm sick. No, I that's not fair. I really don't care. But wait, gotta make sure everything's good. Okay. All right, sorry. So that video was acknowledging iPad's purpose. I haven't changed my stance on it, which is funny. When I criticize iPadOS, I get hate. And then when I at least acknowledge iPadOS for what it is, I get hate. This is a prime example of no matter what you do, you're going to get hate. So just do what you love with integrity. Mean what you do. Because you're not going to please everybody. Nor should you. Like, that's vanity. Who cares? Put the content out that you actually want to make for you. People can tell when you're grifting. And the point of that video was just to finally articulate that any product, really any product after the iPhone, has and will continue for the foreseeable future, has borrowed cues from iOS, from the iPhone, because the iPhone is the best selling product in the world. It is in Apple's, bottom line and everything like that. It redefined literally everything about mobile technology, consumer tech, and Apple was the forefront of that. And so it was obvious that the very next new product, which was an iPad, was taking cues from the best selling product. So is Apple Watch. I mean, it goes hand in hand with the iPhone. And Vision Pro, it's no Mac. My realization about iPadOS is that I don't think there's ever going to be another Mac. The Mac was solidified its place in history. Actually, I wrote this part of in my script and I ended up cutting it all together, which is, I don't know if it's because I don't like to over explain something. But I was about to pull it up. I'm not even going to pull it up. I'm not interested in that. Maybe I'll do another video. But in my script for that, I had talked more about Mac because Mac had solidified its place in history 20 something years prior. 23 years prior. It solidified its stance as a PC. But iPhone just changed it all. Like the Mac was never the best selling PC. It's always been a Windows computer by margins. Just when you look at the adoption rate of everything, like Mac has a small portion of that market, and if they were to take that platform and put it on the iPad, then the iPad would just have a small margin of that market. But that's not how that works. Every new product after iPhone, or it can go to iPhone, which has majority market. And guess what? The iPad's the best-selling tablet. I don't think it's a coincidence because of iOS, Like, they try to get iOS in as many hands as possible. So, that was my aha. It can't be a Mac. That doesn't mean we can't fix the file management system and just make certain things just more accessible, maybe. But I think Apple is trying. I know that's the part where I'm like, oh, maybe I'm being a little too much. The thing is, like, I'm in two camps here. The first one is my skin is peeling. Thank God you guys can't see it, but that's fine. Anyway, I'm in two camps here because one, I think they know what we want to see from iPad without it having to be macOS, just fixing certain things. And I think they actually know that. But with that, because they know, I think they wait to give us little new breadcrumbs every year to just make it palatable instead of just fixing it and then letting us have our thing, because then how are they going to sell the next generation of iPad or the next generation of iPad OS? I guess my stance is like, who cares? The people who are in the corner of iPad, like that's your market right there. But so that's one side, and the other side is I think Apple is trying. I might not agree with it, but I believe them when I feel that they are trying to make the iPad unique enough, like the calculator app, right? The calculator app, even though it's not exclusive to the iPad, they found the right time to bring it to the iPad. And now, as of recording this, the iPad OS 18 beta is on beta 2 right now. And lo and behold, one of the file management features that was requested that I actually appreciate, even though I don't use it, is you can format external drives now on the iPad. That's awesome. That's great. We're in the right direction. But there's something I wish I can see more. I need more oomph in the file thing. I believe we're not going to see a Finder equivalent like on Mac, but there's a lot we can do to fix files. So I don't know. Putting that to the side, I know I can't run the applications that I use to do this show, to work off this setup. And I know there's workarounds that I can do to make it work. I turned off the AC before I started recording, And now it's so warm. I think my son is starting to wake up. How long have I been recording? Oh, 20 minutes on the dot. All right, cool. So this is going to be a short episode. But anyway, I'm actually going to turn the AC back on because maybe it's too hot in here. So I know we're not going to get like a proper Finder functionality, and that's okay. And I also know that I'm not going to get the applications I need to run this setup on the iPad. And that's also okay. Because I know I am a minority. Oh, yeah. Hello, kiddo. He's up. I know I'm in the minority. A lot of people don't do content creation. And you know what? Another part I was trying to make about that video was when I'm not doing content creation, I'm not on the Mac. I am all in on the iPad because I like using it. I like maybe, you know what? I definitely love it as a consumer device for just like binging things, and it's a great media player. But I also like the fact that like it's a media player that lets me respond to text messages or check my email or whatever with social media. All the things I would normally do on my phone, I can also do it on there. And I like that. I really do like that. My phone, on the other hand, it's a smaller device, smaller battery, and I get distracted more on my phone than I do with the iPad. And I don't know why that's the case. But when I'm on my phone, I for whatever reason, I get distracted. But I always treated my phone like a camera first. And I treat the iPad like a media consumption device first. And then I treat my Mac like my productivity. And by productivity, I only mean that of the video and audio production. All other productivity can be done on either or. But anyway, so there's that. I hope that cleared it up a little bit. I don't know. It's really hard to talk right now because of I'm recovering. And my son went right back down because I put the AC on. I guess it really is warm up there. My poor kid. All right. So I'll talk about one more thing, and then I'll wrap it up here, and I'm going to go rest. And that has to do with the betas. I'm going to talk about the betas. I talked about this in my post-dub-dub. Did I do a post-dub-dub video? I definitely did a post-dub-dub podcast with the old Taylosov gang. But did I talk about post-dub-dub? I did. It was understanding Apple Intelligence, and also the iPad cements its place. Oh, I think it was the last episode I did on this whole shtick, I think. But I want to talk about the betas. I'm not running any betas. I'm not interested in running any of the betas. I don't care what version of the beta is out right now. I'm just not interested. I can't fully articulate why. I'm very satisfied with how my systems are running right now. That's why. It's really cool that you can do the iPhone mirroring on the Mac. In a way, iPhone gets Mac OS before the iPad. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. But it doesn't. None of the features or options or whatever that were announced, none of them entice me to be like, oh, I'm gonna get on the beta. And that's probably the first time in I don't know how many years. I would say at least 7 or 8 years that I'm not trying to get on the beta. Because I'm content. I'm happy. And even if Apple was to release the AI features in the betas right now, I wouldn't be getting any of those features because I don't have an M chip iPad, and I don't have a 15 Pro in the Mac. I'm like, I only use the Mac for literally this. It's sad in a way, because every time you guys hear from me or you see me, it's because of the Mac. So in that sense, I am 100% dependent on the Mac for this connection. But there's so much more about me or about what I do that has nothing to do with the Mac. So it's almost like a false sense of importance. But the thing is, the Mac is I said in the iPad OS video, my Mac is my most important device. And I do mean that. It is, without a doubt, my most important device. If I had to choose only one device, oh man, that might be my Mac. If I had to get an Android phone instead, it would be a Mac. Just for the record, by the way, I've never had an Android phone. My SIM, back when we still had SIMs, my SIM has never been inside of an Android phone, ever. Close. I came very close. And out of some silly technicalities, there was some slip-ups, and I just didn't. I never did it, but I almost did. So it's not that I'm not curious. It's just circumstances came up, and I was literally so close. But I've only ever been on an iPhone, ever. And I would let go of my iPhone if I can only have one device, and it would be the Mac. That's how important the Mac is. But I don't use it for anything but the stuff that I use it to its maximum strength. Anyway, I'm not putting a beta on that. And I just don't need to. I don't necessarily care about moving my apps or my widgets around. I showcased my wallpaper, and it's a very minimal wallpaper anyway. That's just how it is. And on my iPad, my wallpaper or my home screen is nothing but all these different types of widgets that has all these clusters of information that I care about, from stocks to my own portfolio to weather to hang on, sorry, my case sat back up again. Anyway, to mail. I got my HomeKit device. I guess this is called Home now. And I got my calendar. I got my reminders. And so I just got a little bit of everything. And I like it that way. So that wouldn't change either way. So betas for me, nah. And I never ran a beta on my watch. Don't really need to. It's not necessary. So when the official updates release in September, I will update then. But where I'm getting at fully with this is my iPhone. I think I've now come to a realization. I'm going to have to upgrade my iPhone to a Pro, unless these AI features come to the base 16. I've always been an advocate for using base model iPhones, but I don't want to be a hypocrite. I'm interested in the more powerful software capabilities. And if Siri's that much better, I want in on that. Oh, I activate. No problem. Yeah, thank you. I am always activating it, man. Anyway, I want in on that. So that might be it. That might be what convinces me to just stay on the Pros from this point forward. And also, my iPhone 15. I don't know how. I don't know why. I'm a little sad to say this, but my iPhone 15 has burn-in. I got some OLED burn-in happening. I can see it, and it's getting worse. So it's been happening for at least a month, and it's getting worse. That's going to bother me. That's going to bother me a lot. So I think I'm going to upgrade. That doesn't mean necessarily I'll get the 16 Pro. Maybe I'll do the 15 Pro. I don't know. We'll see. But I don't know if staying on the 15 is the right move for me anymore. The Mac, I'm fine with what's going. If something was to happen to my Mac, and I do have a backup on, it's off frame, but I have an external SSD. If something was to happen to my Mac now, I don't know if I would go back to a MacBook Pro. I think I've said this before in other mediums, but I've never said it on this channel. I've never said it on this show. If I was to lose my MacBook Pro, if something was to happen, a file gets corrupted and system failure, whatever, blah, 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 I would not go back to a 14-inch MacBook Pro. Before I had this beautiful, beautiful hardware, as a stopgap between my iMac, which was literally on its last leg, dying, I got it was the only one that was out. I got an M1 MacBook Air. An Air, not a Pro, an Air. And that thing ran so smooth. Out of all the devices I've ever owned on the Mac lineup, and I haven't had much. My history of Mac is that I had a 2010 or 2011 MacBook Pro. Then in 2015, I bought an iMac, or maybe it was 15. In 2015, I bought an iMac. And then in 2021, I bought a MacBook Air M1 because I needed it. And then later that year, a MacBook Pro came out, and I was like, yes, finally, and I got it, and I'm glad that I did. But my favorite out of all those, my favorite by far was the MacBook Air M1. It ran smooth, it was smooth, and I was doing this exact same stuff. And actually, I was even more aggressive stuff. I was streaming, and it held up. Never had any errors. And any of the people who were around for that time would tell you, because they saw me as I was streaming and writing music. I was doing a lot. So Logic was in full effect, all that. No issues. No issues at all. And that was such a breath of fresh air for me. So if something were to happen to my MacBook Pro, going forward, I would even say eventually, whenever that day comes and I have to replace my MacBook Pro, I don't know if I would get a Pro. I might get another MacBook Air. Yeah. Because I don't use a Mac the way I used to. If all I do is video production, podcasting, music production, the MacBook Air had been capable of doing all that stuff before on Apple Silicon. So I'll save some money. I'll go back to a MacBook Air. Or maybe I'll do a Mac Mini. Who knows? I mean, the options are endless, but I wouldn't do another Pro. I'm pretty sure of that now. I'm in a different place in my life now. I'm not moving around anymore. I'm solidified. So I'm content with a cheaper, more stationary Mac. And my portable device would then turn into the iPad. So then I talked about upgrading from a base iPhone and downsizing from a Pro eventually. But the iPad, going back to that very first comment about like, oh, does this, new video soon about me talking about Everyday Dad and the iPad? Here's what I'm going to say. I've started saving money, and it's not a lot. So I'm making the move very, very slowly. But I started saving money. And I'm going to keep saving money. And I created a little fund in my bank account. I think it's called Play Money or Play Funds or something like that. So it's basically after all the bills are paid, all my responsibilities are covered, and I got that buffer, okay? Here's your financial advice for the week. Make sure you always have a buffer in your account. Start with $1,000. Then expand that to 3 to 6 months of all expenses. Make sure you have that covered. Have some play money. Take care of you. You only live once. It's okay to have play money. So, I started a fund, and I have I think literally $7 in it. So I'm taking my sweet time. I gotta check because I don't know if that's actually true. I think it's 7. Maybe it's 70. I know there's a 7 in there. $7.40. That's so funny. Wait, can you guys even see that? No, you can't. But that's okay. Take my word for it. It's $7.40. But that's $7.40 that's going to go towards something. After, also, I'm going to sell my iPhone 15 when that day comes. And I will sell the iPad as well. And I will upgrade my iPad to an M series iPad. I don't know if I'm going to do the M4. And this is why I'm taking my sweet time and I'm going to just let the market play out. Because I'm not in a hurry. There's no FOMO. There's no, I got to get the latest. I've learned now we are at that time in tech, ladies and gentlemen, where all the iPhones are basically the same. If you have a Pro series, at least. All the iPads are definitely basically the same. And the longer I wait, the more certified refurbished or, used Amazon renewed or whatever it's called for maybe an M4 that's slightly used or a little bit used. Maybe I do that. I don't pay full price for my tech. Ever. I just don't. That's not what I do. There's always a discount somehow, somewhere, some way. And I don't. And worst case scenario, if there's no other used things, this or the other, me personally, I'm a veteran, so I get military discount. But I think you can get a military discount on certified refurbished through Apple, so maybe it's a double discount. God, I hope that's the case. Either way, Amazon is pretty solid for used. But where I'm getting at is I will eventually, it might not even happen this year, straight up, but I will eventually, I've committed to upgrading my iPad Pro to a newer model, at least an M chip one, because I said this in my Apple Intelligence video. I hate being software locked. If I didn't say that, I definitely did like a Instagram reel or YouTube short thing about it, but I don't like being software locked. And I got to play the game. I know that's probably not the right answer, but the thing is, I'm not voting with my dollar in the way that I wouldn't buy it otherwise. I kind of I've had some of these thoughts anyway, and if the deciding factor is then you're going to get all this other AI capability things anyway, then I'm like, well, all right. So when I say I'm going to get an iPad with an M chip, it could be an iPad Air with an M1. It may very well be that. I don't know yet. I won't even come close to making that decision until I'm at least $1,000? $1,500 saved up in my play fund, I think. Maybe. I told you guys at the beginning of the show that I had a leak right over here. All that stuff gotta be taken care of first, you know what I mean? I've talked about it in others, I'm getting a deck built. I got a lot of things that are happening right now. That's definitely way more important. So that's why I only got $7.40 in my play funds. So however we get there, however long it takes to get there, we'll get there eventually. But because I don't do anything on credit, by the way. Never on credit. I will buy it with the Apple credit card. Yeah, I'll get that 3%. Okay. Unless I'm buying through Amazon or whatever. Amazon, I think, gives me 5% because I have an Amazon Prime card. Oh. Anyway, that's things I got to figure out. I got to sort that out on the back end. But where I'm getting at is I don't just take out credit and then pay over time with interest. No. I haven't paid interest on anything. The last time I paid interest on something was probably 2016, 2017, something like that. That's when I turned my life around. That's when I found minimalism. That's when I took my finances seriously, and in less than 3 years, I got out of debt completely. Woo! Now I have a mortgage. Don't get me wrong. So I guess in that sense, but that's the life we live in. But whenever I save up that money, I guess $1,500, because I'm gonna maybe I'll buy something that works with my current Apple Pencil. Maybe, right? That'll save me $200 or something, $150, whatever this goes for. The keyboard, the keyboard would be the same. Do I need a function row? No. I mean, I don't know. But we'll see. We'll see what that landscape looks like when the money's saved up. The thing is also, and I was receiving comments on this on other videos, I acknowledge that people want me to review these products. So do I buy it, review it, send it back? Like, what is it that I could tell you that you wouldn't already hear from somebody else? Well, maybe everything, because maybe I have a different perspective, but it is my goal, it's my intent. I look to get an iPad Pro or an iPad Air, something with an M series chip. It's my intent to get something like that, so that way I can have maybe what I'm looking for is continuity between all my devices that are going to be Siri compatible. Maybe. I don't know. But that's why I got to let the betas run their course, and then those softwares will release in September. I mean, rumor is that these Apple Intelligent features aren't even going to be out until 2025. So what am I rushing for? You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know what I'm rushing for. There's no reason to rush. I'm gonna take my sweet time. And yeah. I think that's it. My kid keeps sitting up, laying back down, but I think he's been napping long enough, so I'm going to go get him. And I'm going to end it here. So thank you for joining me, everybody. And I'll be back hopefully a lot sooner than the gap between the last video and all that. But, hey, I got sick. It's always something, isn't it? It's always something. But that is the way of life. All right. Please feel free to let me know what you guys are feeling about all these hardware updates and stuff like that. And maybe you are running a beta. Maybe some of that stuff you're more interested in than I am, but I don't think it's just me getting older. I just think that I've found the perfect versions, I guess, of these operating systems that work for me. So I'm like, well, I'm good. Everything else is just extra icing on the cake. You know, I'm good over here. So I'm not really incentivized, so to say, about running a beta. And yeah, but maybe you feel differently. You guys let me know, and let me hear all that good. I'm gonna take a break on this whole iPad talk for a while. I got other stuff that I'm more interested in. For example, and I didn't even talk about it because, you know, I did iPad OS, but Pikes Peak is a mountain range here. Pikes Peak is literally a 14er. A 14er means it's a 14,000 foot mountain. Colorado has the most 14ers in the continuous 48 U.S. states. But actually, I think it's in all of North America. I think Colorado has the most 14ers. If not all of North America, definitely in the continuous 48, and I think Canada. That has to be the case then, because what else is just Alaska? Anyway, Pikes Peak had a race a couple days ago. Very big race. Something I was not even like, oh, that's a thing? And I was so excited, and I couldn't go because tickets sold out, and then I got sick anyway, so it just wasn't meant to be. But next year. Next year. But it's a... Think like, you know, Formula One. You know how you got the race that happens in Vegas, right? Well, Pikes Peak has their own race here, and Rivian came and brought their new quad motor R1T, so their truck, and raced that BZ up the mountain. Right now, the record, I have to verify if that record got broken the other day, but if it did, as of a couple days ago, the record was held in 2018 by an EV, a Volkswagen, an ID4. Okay, so it's not a race car, it's not a nothing, but it was a Volkswagen. It was an EV that broke the record. I think it got up the mountain in under 8 minutes, I believe. So that's really interesting stuff, and I was excited to know that Rivian brought their new truck out here, and I think they were doing like a showcasing of things after the race too. So anyway, where I'm getting at is that there's all these other stuff that I kind of want to dabble in, and I think I'm going to take a hit in the views for it. I've been known to now cover a lot of Apple things, which is my genuine interest because I'm an Apple guy, but I'm not just Apple. So I want to talk about other stuff, and I have a very strong feeling I'm going to take a big hit in views and engagement and growth. And well, all right, I guess. But what I say earlier in the episode, I said, make stuff that you want to see, be true to yourself, right? So I'm going to do that. I got other stuff I want to talk about anyway, but all that to say that this pretty much concludes my story arc for iPadOS as a whole. So unless something new happens, I don't think I'm going to be talking about iPadOS anymore. Maybe I'll give you guys updates if or when the time comes and I get a new iPad, but I think I've said everything I needed to say about iPad. So with that, thank you all for tuning in, and thanks for putting up with me in my sick state as I recover. And I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.